Alright guys, got a new holster review coming on for you. We are going to be talking about some NSR tactical gear from Dave White out at Gun Friendly, Arizona. Really high quality stuff, as you can tell. It's extremely contoured and well fitted to the firearm. Very nice holster. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's not the holster I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to talk to you about this one. The C5 from Dave White out at NSR. Did you see the gun? With it tucked in there? Tucked in shirt? Nice little situation. No, but you did see the loops. That's okay though. If I wanted to, I could remove this loop from my wallet chain, stick this one here, and tuck the other one behind one segment of my loop, or belt. Anyway, let's get on with this. I told Dave I would do a review. Dave, if you're watching, share this with some folks, you know, maybe let them see how nice your stuff is, because I know James Yeager is probably the only guy I've seen online of any notoriety that has done a review, so, you know, maybe let folks check it out. I might have another one coming up on the Taurus holster as well. Alright, back to the holster. What I have here is a EDC mag pouch for the Smith & Wesson Shield, and the C5 for the Smith & Wesson Shield in 9mm. This holster, as you can see, it's all Kydex construction, very well made. And what you'll notice is I had my shirt tucked in, and how that was accomplished is by this strut. Basically, when I insert this, my shirt tucks in behind this, and this grabs onto my belt. And I'll demonstrate that real quick. Just tuck the holster in like you would any other inside the waistband holster. And bring your loop around. Snap it on. And then if I were to tuck in my shirt, like so, pull the strut back if you can see that, and insert my shirt behind it. There we go. Spiffy looking, nice for formal occasions or for work, and it conceals very well. Now what you'll note is I am carrying in the appendix position. This is primarily an appendix holster. However, it can be carried back of the hip as well, with no issues whatsoever. It's a very comfortable holster, so it can be carried in any position, which is a added benefit to it. It's very, very versatile. Now the only thing about this particular holster, it is an inside the waistband only holster. If you wanted a holster that was a little bit more modular as to whether you could go inside or outside the waistband, what you would want to get is the standard EDC holster. With a standard EDC holster, what you can do, now this does not have the strut. I can remove the strut from this. You don't have to have that. I just like the tuckable option, and I find that it does not add any printing by having the strut on, so why not have it on? If you did want to run just the loop though, like this EDC holster, you could do this. Or, like I said, if you wanted a little bit more modularity to be able to wear outside the waistband, you can also get these outside the waistband loops, which I have a set of for this gun for training and for going to the range. Or say for the winter time, it gets a little bit cold outside. I don't feel like wearing inside the waistband. I can adjust how high up it rides by moving the loops down or up, or how deep it conceals. So I can have a nice high riding outside the waistband holster with a hoodie on. You would never know I was carrying a full frame firearm. Or with a jacket, whatever. I've actually worn this with a loose fitting polo, and you really couldn't tell very well that I had this on like this. Now the only reason I don't carry like this right now is because it is summertime. It's a mid-80 degree temperature situation right now. Anyway, back to the shield. As you'll note, back of the hip works very well, draws very nicely. Very easy to find that holster and reholster it. Now, don't do what I just did, please, unless you've really got some practice. Find the holster with your thumb, like so. Make sure you have no obstructions, and then reholster. Don't shoot yourself, okay? That's the #1 time people shoot themselves. Now, let's further on how well this holster is made. if you'll note, this is contoured extremely well to the gun. This gun has not been safety checked, quote unquote. It is loaded up with dummy rounds. I'll demonstrate why in a moment. But you can see how well it's formed. But another thing, listen to this. You hear that click? It's extremely positive retention. It's not coming out. I'm not squeezing the holster in any way. I'll grab it by the strut here. Not coming out. That is accomplished by retention on the trigger guard, which is usually how Kydex works. But you have retention screws right here. If you can see these rubber grommets, okay? These run through the strut. I could remove the strut and just tighten them down more. But these rubber grommets allow you to adjust how tight or how loose the holster is, so you can get a smoother draw or a more retained draw. Now this, you can see it holds it very well, but placed on me, it is not hard to draw. It is not hard to draw at all, but it's not going to just fall out. Now, as noted, I am wearing this appendix. I don't usually wear appendix, but if I'm carrying a very small firearm, which the shield is about the smallest firearm I'll probably carry, unless I'm in a situation where I just have to have the smallest gun possible, then I might go smaller and get like a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard and 380, and I'm not a fan of 380, but generally speaking, with smaller guns, appendix is a nice way to go. Something else I did not mention, the mag pouch, obviously, since I had my shirt tucked in, is also tuckable. You have the strut, or if you want to remove the strut, because you're not going to use it, it's going to be, an untucked shirt at all times, you can simply place this soft loop here, just like you see on this holster, just the loop. Now let's demonstrate this holster and show you how effective it is from the draw, and we will demonstrate a magazine change. Now, one thing to note, unless you specify otherwise, Dave's gear, the rounds are facing forward on any position. The reason for this, if you are unfamiliar with magazine carriers or mag pouches, is when you go to, well, let's demonstrate this. When we go and press out, we drop our mag, and we go to grab this, our fingers tend to find things. If we just go to shove it in, you can see I kind of want to fumble a little bit. If I index it, I don't have to look at what I'm doing whatsoever. So you want to index during mag changes, but this is set up for indexing, which is very nice. I think you should always index, always have your rounds facing forward. Now, let's demonstrate the draw, and we'll demonstrate a magazine change. Okay, from high ready position. Okay. Now we'll demonstrate a magazine change. Alright. That is the C5 concealment from Dave out at NSR. Awesome holster. Now one thing I will tell you, a benefit of Kydex. Let's take a look at the other type of holster we have here. Leather on Kydex, a hybrid, or let's just say all leather for our intensive purposes here. Leather, the problem with leather, it is comfortable, but it tends to stick to you when you start to sweat. Okay? This does not. This is also extremely smooth. It is not uncomfortable. It's not sharp. There's no edges to it. There's nothing about this that is uncomfortable. I promise you, after being a leather guy, this is just as comfortable. But we start to sweat. Our sweat goes through the leather. It absorbs, gets on the gun, can lead to rust. Also with leather, something you will eventually discover if you carry and train hard enough is that gun oil will soak into here, sweat will soak into here, and any debris that gets in here acts as a abrasive. And even if there is no debris in there, the sweat or gun oil itself will cause a rubbing of the finish, which on one of my firearms, half of the slide had damn near had the finish rubbed off. Now you can say, well, that won't happen with a Glock. Get out and train with it hard enough, the bluing or the tinifer, whatever it is, will eventually come off. So, let's show something here. With Kydex, one of the great things about it, you can run it through the sink, wash it out. Leather, you cannot do that. You'll stretch it, shrink it up, contort it, just no good. You can't clean leather like you can Kydex. It's just a fact. This is also tougher. It's just a better material overall. If you like leather, great. But now something to note about the design of his holsters. You see this gun go in. We have the Kydex on this hybrid holster. This is a Tommy Tice holster, not a bad holster, or excuse me, not a bad holster maker. The man makes extremely good holsters, but this design is inherently flawed. But you note the sight channel is not as nice, because what we have is the Kydex rubbing on the top of the slide right here. Okay? For this, we don't have that. We've got a nice open area, which is great. If I had suppressor sights on here, tall sights for a suppressor, it would still go in just fine, not make contact with the sights. The sight channel runs all the way down the top, so the front sight runs through without getting any rub, which is how all holsters should be. As well, this holster does not scratch my gun. I've used other holsters, and I can tell you, you're going to notice wear very quickly if you train with him hard enough and practice your draw enough. I mean, this is the EDC holster. This is for another gun that I'll review later, but I mean, you can see exactly how well this is formed. Just amazing work. Now, the end result is, I highly, highly recommend the NSR C5 for appendix carry with the Smith & Wesson shield. You just don't get a better holster, in my opinion. You really don't. The C4 is another great option, which you do not have the option of the struts. What you'll end up with is only the soft loops, which is fine. If you're only interested in getting you the most affordable, most quality made holster possible, and you're not worried about the tuckable option, go with the C4. If you got a few extra bucks, go ahead and spend the $65 on the C5. Now the C4, I believe, is $50 or $55. Nothing wrong with that holster. I just like this one because for work-related purposes or formal purposes, should I choose to tuck in a shirt, I can do that very easy with this. And as mentioned, I can carry it in any position, as with any of the appendix carry holsters that he makes for any gun. But with this one in particular, it's just amazing. And you can add a second strut if you want for a more stable platform, but what I'm going to tell you is you don't want that for a gun this size. Maybe for a larger gun, if you're a big enough guy, you can appendix a Glock 19 or a 23, something to that extent. But what you want is the holster to be able to shift around with your body when you're carrying appendix. You'll find that appendix versus back of the hip, strong side, you don't need the belt as tight. You actually want it to be able to move and follow your body. Like when I squat, the holster will rise up some. If I lean one way, my thigh kind of catches the very bottom edge. It'll be able to rock back and forth, which is something you want when you're carrying it right here. Now, something you'll wonder about appendix. If you're going to say something about me shooting my balls off, don't do that, because quite frankly, that's very simple. Keep your finger off the damn trigger until you're ready to shoot something. And when you reholster, keep your finger off the trigger then too. And you'll be alright. Because that's the most dangerous time as far as shooting yourself is concerned. But I really just don't know what else to say. It's an amazing holster. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'll be getting another one just like this for my fiance. and I'll be continuing to buy from Dave out at NSR. And yeah, I'll have some more reviews coming up on this stuff. I hope you all have a good one. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Give a shout out to Dave at NSR. Type in nsrtactical.com and you can check out his website and all of his selections for gear. Anyway, y'all have a good one. This has been Guitar Love TV.